Hey there folks, so this is kind of not so great news. If you remember, I got me this cool thing here, the PV6505 mini head, and I absolutely love it, but with this particular unit there seems to be some kind of problem. Here are a couple of sound samples of the hum that sometimes occurs coming from the power amp section of this particular unit. And these are boosted like 24 dB, so you can clearly hear what's happening. And here's what it sounds like when I just turn it on first thing in the morning. And that already could come through in a clean tone. It's surprisingly not too quiet. After an hour or so of this thing just running, here's what it sounds like. And then, at times, this can happen. So yeah, all of that renders this particular unit pretty much useless for my purposes. And I already checked out a couple of things and tried some solutions and nothing helps. I also have a combo tube amp and I hooked that up the same way I hooked this one up. That one didn't have any problem, so I suspect something is wrong with this thing. So I'm sending this back and I'll be getting a replacement, so it's gonna take another week or two until I can actually get things up and running with a real tube amp and go on with my life. Quick update, I just brought the package to the post office, so now it's on its way back to Thomann, and I hope I will get the replacement amp in about a week. We'll see. So for the time being, I'm gonna have to return to the AMT P2 pedal, going straight into impulse responses, and hey, it still sounds pretty fine. So now I'm just gonna have to play the waiting game. So it's a new day and I am not really happy. The amp has arrived back at Thomann, but they cannot send out a replacement yet because it's not in stock. But it does say it will be back in stock in 2 to 5 days. Let's hope that's actually the case. So let's be positive, let's be hopeful, let's be patient. Okay, new updates. So the amp was supposed to be back in stock on Friday, and now it actually shows up to be back in stock in about a month, rather. So now I asked Thomann to give me rather a refund and then get me a replacement, and I ordered the amp somewhere else and it should arrive tomorrow. Fingers crossed. So the new amp arrived today, so let's try this again, shall we? There we go. Might be a little bit dark on the picture, but right now I do not care. Forgive me. And I'm not gonna take any chances. So turn it on. Wait a minute or two. Okay. Turn off the standby. Well, it's making a sound at least. I still have this hum in there. Well, I suppose that's just your normal 50 cycle hum. I guess I could try out a power conditioner to get that a little bit more under control. What's important is that it doesn't freak out after an hour, so I just gotta let this running now. I suppose that internal feedback loop that sometimes comes in when I have too much gain going on It's also not too good to be happening. So I really gotta watch out with my dials. I can't actually crank this whole setup too much, but I would like to. I would like to push the power amp a little bit more to get some more power tube saturation in there. But if I go above 4, it starts to go nuts, which I don't want, of course. Man, I still love this sound. It's just everything I notice about amp synths that I don't like is just absolutely gone with this. And same goes also for pedals. I've been using pedals for like half a year now at least, and also everything I don't like about pedals is gone with this. So tubes, awesome. Now I'm just gonna let it keep running, see what it does. So we are an hour in of this thing just running and no problem so far, so that's pretty cool. Now of course that 50 cycle hum is still in there, and I definitely want to get control over that, so I suppose a power conditioner is in order next. Or give me some ideas of how to get further control over something like this. But so far this seems to be functional. Let's give it another half an hour or so just to be absolutely sure. Okay, 1.5 hours in of this thing just running and no problems. This thing is behaving, and I guess that makes me happy. Now I just gotta learn how to play. So I'm definitely glad that I finally got a functioning amp now, so I can go on with recording and experimenting and whatnot. It's really, really cool sound, this tube sound. It's not something I have experienced in this way before. What's interesting about the 50 hertz hum is I gotta figure out a good signal to noise ratio, so get that hum as low as possible in volume, crank the output gain on the amp as high as possible before I get into any kind of internal feedback looping, because that hum is not dependent on the power amp volume. If I turn it down or up, it doesn't change the hum at all. So I gotta get this just right. And then I suppose also a noise filter like the Re-Fear from Re-plugins, from Reaper, will do the rest, or could do the rest. But still, if you have any input on how to get this under control with actual gear, then that would be much appreciated. That's it for today. As you can probably tell, I'm just tired right now, and this whole thing has been stressing me quite a bit, more than I would like. Over this week, I figured I gotta do something about my attitude when it comes to stuff and orders and shipments and whatnot. It's stressing me out way too much than it deserves. In the end, it's all just stuff that could be replaced. It's not that important. Anyways, that's it for this little adventure. You know how YouTube works, so do your thing, and I shall see you next time.